And welcome back to another episode of The Breakdown with Bethany. I'm Bethany Braun-Silva, and today my guest is Dr. Z, Zabina Bhasin. She's a diversity and inclusion expert, an entrepreneur, a physician, and a mom of two. She created a company called In KidZ. It's all about teaching our children about global citizenship. And she's going to talk to us about what it means to be a global citizen and how we can instill those values in our kids. So this is an episode you're definitely not going to want to miss. You have such an impressive background. I mean, you're a physician, you're an entrepreneur, you're a mom. So tell us about your background, how you got started, and what you're all about.
So my name is Dr. Zabina Bhasin. I am a non-practicing child psychiatrist now because I am an entrepreneur that started a company and founded in March of 2020 known as In KidZ. We are a diverse and inclusive toy company on a mission to educate everyone through play. And we launched on the basis of teaching children three years and older about diversity, inclusion, and belonging, as well as protecting one another and making sure we teach our children about other cultures through toys and play. And as I launched that, why I launched that was because of my kids. And that's where I'm a mom also. My kids were my priority. I stopped practicing and I was a hospital administrator. And I decided I wanted to do something to really uplift my children and teach them not only about our culture and our traditions and our religion, but about other cultures and traditions. Because I got bullied so much when I was growing up. Look, I'm a born and raised American. I was born in Cerritos, California. I was raised in Cerritos, which is culturally a diverse town, but I was still bullied for the color of my skin, for my nose, for my food, the way I dressed. And I was really upset when I started hearing when my children were born that this was still happening. And I said, instead of really talking to schools and parents, why don't we bring out products and ideas that we can teach children about other cultures and other traditions through play? And then In KidZ developed, and we launched with our culture kits. And now in 2022, right? That's next year, 2022, we're going to launch with our first toy. So In KidZ is now not only a culture kit company, but we are evolving into a toy company as well.
I love that. And so I just want to go back a little bit because I was surprised, and I know a lot about you and your company, but I was surprised to hear you launched. I mean, you hear March 2020, like red flags, like was this like a pandemic project, or was this already like planned before the pandemic? And then how did you make it through?
So no, this was not a pandemic project. We had started the idea November of 2019. So what happened was I would create these little kits. I started teaching my daughter because she's my firstborn and she was in school. Yes,
we'll go through, but go ahead.
Yeah. So I started teaching my daughter because she had a diverse group of classrooms, and we started talking about India and Diwali and Holi and all the traditions that we would celebrate in our house. My children are bi-religious. So my husband's Hindu and I'm Sikh. So I would bring both the traditions together. So that was a challenge for me at first. And then what I started doing was she started asking about her classmates, and we started bringing our traditions into the classroom. And then the other parents started bringing it, and Mara started having more and more questions. So I said, well, what a better way than to bring these kind of items into my home and really do one country, one culture, and one tradition at a time. And I started slowly having to create these kits for her and creating them in like early 2019. And then my friends started noticing it. They were like, where did you get it from? And I'm like, everywhere. I just sourced from different places and I created these kits. And like, we want one. And I'm like, okay, so I created for one of my friends and then I did it for another friend. And then they wanted Diwali baskets. And my husband's like, how much money are you spending on this? And is anyone paying you back? And I'm like, no, this was just like projects I was doing because I wasn't working and I had two kids under 2 and I wasn't in the hospital system and I wasn't in practice. And I was like, I'm doing this for my children. And so I sat down with my husband in probably November of 2019, I want to say. And if you know me or anyone knows me, everyone knows I'm idea queen. I will come up with ideas. I will give you ideas. And my husband always says, tell people to pay you for this. And that's not my personality, but I I want to help people and I want to just do it. So whenever I came up with an idea, he was like, okay, that's great. He's very business oriented. He's a CPA. So he's a finance guy. So he's like, oh, that's great. So when I sat down and told him about this and what I was doing, he's like, why don't you have your friends pay you for these kits? And I was like, oh. And then we just kind of started bringing out ideas. How do we do this? How do we launch it? And one of the biggest things for me was I don't know other cultures and traditions. And I had to make sure they were authentic because I'm not going to put something out there if I don't know it. And so what I started doing was I was talking to the parents of the classrooms about their countries and cultures, and then started creating these kits and selling them. My friends had them. And then Rakesh said, wait, this is bigger than I thought this was going to be. Let's think about this and let's start doing it. And that's really when it started working. December 2019, we started putting the ideas together. I knew nothing about being an entrepreneur. If anyone tells you they teach you business in med school, they're lying. Nobody teaches you business in med school. I didn't know what an Excel sheet, financial, this business plan. I was like, what do I have to do? What's branding? What's marketing? Because when you're in the hospital system, you have departments for this. Mine was business development, physician relations, making sure that we had a diverse group of doctors in our hospital and we had great customer relations. So what did I know about creating a product and bringing it to market, And it just took one step at a time. And March 2020, honestly, it was early March 2020. We kind of started the website launch. We had so many technical difficulties. Our website crashed the day it launched. And we had to relaunch it in June, but we had like a social media presence. We had a little bit of, I didn't know what direct to consumer meant. I didn't know what B2B meant. I didn't know any of this stuff. And I had to learn. And I had a great source, which was my husband. He's great, but he's got his own business and he could only give me so much time. And I made a lot of mistakes and I'm probably still making some of them, but I'm learning through them. I'm growing through them. And it was a lot. I did notice that when we did launch and really get the website going up in June, people were like, oh my gosh, we need this. And we launched as a subscription-based company. Now we've, deteriorated from that and we've gone to more product-based and, bi-monthly, which may stay for a while and then we'll figure out how that works. But we see that people want one box at a time. They want to go in and choose what they want. They're actually coming to us and asking us, can you make this box? Can you customize this box? And now we have schools, hospitals, I like private companies who order boxes from us for their employees and their families to do, HR events and projects and stuff. And we noticed that it's so important to really listen to our customer because we realized the subscription piece didn't work for us. It did for a little bit. And then I think as parents, you and I know, it becomes overwhelming, and I think as a mom, I realized that I didn't want the stuff in my house constantly. So I was like, if I don't want it, how many other people? So we're just scaling and we're learning. And today, being that we're in retail, it's just so exciting. And, we're in dropship or .coms right now. And in next year, we're going to be in 2 big box retailers and in store. And we know the mission and passion we have has to be in mass market. That's the only way our mission can actually be accomplished, which is to teach children about diversity and inclusion and belonging. Without doing that, it's going to be hard to get the word out to everyone.
I love it. I mean, this is really inspiring because I know there's so many parents, moms especially, who have great big ideas and they're so afraid by taking that first step. And to hear that you did it and you're still learning, it's so inspiring. So I really want to encourage any mother out there who's listening about your business idea. You don't need to know what a business plan is or anything like that. You will learn.
You'll learn.
But okay, Zabina, take us through the box. I have the Jamaica box, but take us through what people are going to find when they receive one of these cultural boxes.
So first, you're going to find a letter from us stating which box you have received. And that really explains the idea behind the culture or the tradition we're teaching within the box. Majority of our boxes have a tradition that we're teaching because every country has traditions. Actually, every country has many, many traditions. So you're probably going to see many Jamaica boxes and India boxes. Then you'll see definitely a card that talks about the general knowledge of the country. We have our own little postcard in there. And I think you have an older one, but we have a new one that has a thank you card. But one of our purposes behind In KidZ is really to teach culture. So in the Jamaica box, you have your sensory items, your games, like your hacky sack. You have a little hat. You have friendship bands for the Jamaica box. Every box has a flag because you need to know the representation of the country. We have language cards. I think, so that's a project. That's a craft. Every box will have a craft. a craft, a game, an item from the country, and then our language cards. Now, every country has 22 words. These are known throughout the world. 22 words that you need to know. Hello, thank you. Where's the bathroom? Where's your school? And we put them in the box so we can teach it. And then most especially, there's a book that is written by somebody from the country who actually represents the culture behind it. This is one of my favorites. And I think also, we love Bob Marley and we love his daughter who wrote this beautiful book based on his song. So every box has sensory items, proprioceptive items. So I'm a physician and my partner is an educator. So she's a PhD in education and that's what she does. We come together to know that what do our children want to learn through play and how do we educate them with the appropriate items in the box. So you'll see 7 to 8 items, a craft, games, fun things from the country that you have to understand that children play with, and like the most important, books, knowledge, and sometimes you have a lot of stickers in there, and our stickers are branded, which represent the country as well. Because I know my kids come and grab those stickers as soon as they come out. And I'm like, guys, these are products. I can't keep giving everything to you.
I just love stickers. And this is one of the best. I mean, it's a box. Like sometimes you get, subscription boxes. They're like, kind of like, oh, this is cool. But you will use every single thing in this box. And you can tell how curated it is, which I, as a parent, really, really appreciate.
So it was important to me because I know, and like we get boxes and we use it once and then it's gone. Right. So it's like I'm spending $18 to $20 on a box and I'm like, what am I doing with this? Now I throw it away. That was really important to me. It was like, these are reusable, they're sustainable, they're recyclable items, and everything in this box you can keep going back to again and again. So it's like you keep your little kit. And then when you want to go back to it, I will tell you, I've had parents kids are about 4 to 5 years old. They have this, and then they have an 8 or 9 year old. They're like, oh, they're learning about this country in school right now. So they pull out these items to say, let's talk about this. And it's really nice to see it's across the age group. So it's 3 and plus. One of the other things I love that our customers tell us is the passport. Yeah. So you get a passport in every box and you get a little stamp sticker. And a lot of the kids love the fact that the stamp sticker looks so much like a stamp that's in the box. Yeah. And you can write your name in there. You can put your picture in there. And it's how you want to talk about the country. And that's the best part. So you can get the passport and then every box will have its separate stamp sticker in it. And kids love that because when they travel, we've had actually a few parents because of COVID couldn't, but when they want to start traveling, they're like, we're going to take our passports with us and put other things in there. So it comes a scrapbook on your own. So I know I loved scrapbooks when I was growing up because I used to, and my mom hated them, but I was like, it's so important to have these memories because then you can go back and talk about it with your children as well.
Yeah. I've heard it said, just to switch gears, kind of, but not really, I've heard it said, and I vehemently disagree with it, that we don't really need to teach diversity and inclusion and global citizenship to kids because they're already so naturally like open and receptive. But I don't know that I agree with that. And I'm wondering where you stand on that. I have a feeling, but tell me about what you think.
So these are big words: diversity, inclusion, belonging, right? They're marketing words. They're words that as parents, we understand. What do kids understand? Kindness, empathy, loving one another, making sure we respect one another, making sure we don't treat each other, and make fun of one another and do jokes against them, because that's how they're going to understand to be global citizens, be kind individuals, grow up to be great adults. And to do that, what do we see and how do we do that is as parents and educators and anyone raising a child, we have to teach them about each other. We have to teach them that we are all different, but we're actually all similar. And we have to show them how our similarities are representing us. And that's our mission. My mom taught me that. That's where I came from. That is, my mom kept saying, we're all a little bit different, but we're actually more similar than we're different. And our differences make us unique. They don't separate us. And that's really what our children need to learn. So what does that eventually become? Is teaching them diversity, is teaching them inclusion, is teaching them belonging. It's teaching them through these little things of like culture and tradition and respecting one another, understanding each other's backgrounds. And that's what children need to learn. And they learn it by being kind to one another. I always say we parents have to show that, and they mimic us. Every single kid in our life, they will see what we are doing. And then when they see what we do, they will do the same thing. So if you as a parent are telling a joke and you're making fun of somebody's culture, guess what? it's not you who's laughing at it with the other adult. It's them who's listening to it. And they're the ones who are going to repeat that. And that's where you start with, the jokes and the memes, and that turns into some sort of, hate or making fun of school. And then it goes to other extremes that you don't want to see, which is hate and racism. And we don't want to go to that point. So that's why we bring out these boxes for diversity and inclusion. Yes, those are bigger names, but yes, I think children are open to that. We just need to embrace that empathy, kindness, and love, and tell them, let's keep doing this. And we do it by teaching them about other cultures and traditions.
Is it fair to say that that's sort of how you, and if I'm wrong, tell me how you would define being a global citizen? And if not, tell us what that means to you.
No, I think it's exactly how you define to be a global citizen. I think being a global citizen is the importance is first being empathetic and kind to someone. That is number one. And then understanding where their background and culture is from and respecting it. And then if we do that, we are automatically a global citizen. If you're doing those simple steps and understanding someone's background and respecting them and respecting their individuality, you are. So that is the definition of global citizen. It's great if you get to travel. That'll be tapped in, thing. But not a lot of us can do that. Not many of us, some of us are very blessed to be able to do that, but some of us are not. And so what do we get to do is we get to bring those cultures and traditions into your home.
I love that. It really is such an important resource, this box, the In KidZ, box. So I love it. And I love it for my own kids. And I mean, yes, I think that's great, especially when we're not really able to travel in a way that maybe individuals deem to be safe right now. There are resources like you've created, but I'm also curious, you're a mom to young kids. I'm a mom to young kids. How would you like the future for our kids to look like when it comes to these big words like global citizenship, diversity, and inclusion? What is like the ideal future? And of course, by instilling these things in them now, maybe we have a better hope for that going forward. But what does that really look like for you with this generation coming up, our own kids?
So our kids are considered Generation A. And I say Generation A is we're ready to start over again. And what do I see? I see this just being the norm. I don't see these words being used anymore. My goal and my mission is to create this generation that diversity, inclusion, and belonging is a part of life. It's not talked about to be done. Yeah, it's in our definitions and it's our book, but we're living it. We're breathing it. They're showing it. They're showing the generation above them, the millennials and Gen Zs. They're, for us, it was the baby boomers, right? But for them, it's that those people who are like saying, okay, this is the norm. We're following your footsteps, Generation A, which you're younger than us. We learn from our old and the past, and we learn from our young. Because that's how the next world in the next year is going to be, in the next 10 years is going to be. And when my kids are 40 years old and they have their kids, this is just a part of life for them. It's not going to be something that they have to work at to do. We are going to work at to do it so they have the normality of it.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting goosebumps. So I really love that. I mean, it's always so incredible chatting with you. You're a wealth of information and really just kind of makes me very hopeful for our kids and our future. I mean, these conversations are really important. So Zabina, thank you so much. Please tell everybody where they can find you, where they can buy the box, and what's coming down. What's the future looks like? I know we were chatting a little bit before. It's exciting.
So I'm on social media as Zabina Bhasin, MD, or Dr. Z. You can look for us. In KidZ Co. is on social media. And we have our own website, which is direct to consumer, which is www.inkidzco.com. We are also available on Maisonette.com and Nordstrom.com. We will be very soon in store at Nordstrom and also another big box retailer, which I can't talk about yet, in 2022, maybe 3. So we're in the talks with 2 more, but we're definitely going to be in Nordstrom. And you're going to also see the launch of our first toy, which is going to be our dolls very soon at the end of 2022. So be prepared for new Christmas presents. Also, In KidZ is still doing its culture kits. We'll have 3 new countries next year. We're also going to have 3 new state boxes next year, because we also believe the culture within the United States is very important to understand. As you know, our America box is our award-winning box about Black history. And it's in schools right now. It's actually in stores. It's on .com, and it will be in stores next year. So it's important to understand our culture here so we can understand the cultures that we all come from within the United States. So you'll see that, and then you'll see our first toy. And then it's just sky high from there. In KidZ will be this, it is the DEI toy company that will be a global brand.
I mean, you are really one to watch, and I'm really excited and grateful you took the time to talk with me and share, your insight with the MomCave viewers. So thank you so much. Till next time, because I'm sure there's plenty of more conversations. Next time
we're doing this in person, Bethany. That's what I got to tell you. I'm waiting to give you like a hug.
I hope so. Thank you so much.
Thank you.